There are two types of inspections discussed in the Australian standards: in-service and periodic.
A visual inspection is required prior to each use. This implies that before each lift, the user checks the equipment, sling, hook, lifting points to ensure that there is no significant damage or wear and that the WLL tag or markings are fitted and legible. At this point, if any defects are noted, the equipment should be withdrawn from service and inspected by a competent person who can make a decision on whether to use, repair or discard the equipment.
Periodic inspections refer to a more careful and detailed inspection where the equipment is cleaned and inspected in an appropriately lit location by an inspector who has been both trained and has good eyesight. These inspections also need to be documented. So, how often should equipment be thoroughly inspected? Just what does periodic mean? The answer, unfortunately, is not straightforward. Due to their relatively fragile nature, synthetic slings have a specified period of 3 months between inspections, not including the in-service check prior to each lift. For other types of lifting gear, it's up to the owner or manager of the equipment to determine what is adequate.
As a guide, here are some common inspection frequencies that are used in Australia. If you are responsible for lifting and rigging gear, it is up to you to determine whether these frequencies are suitable or whether a more frequent inspection program is required. Common inspection frequencies. Synthetic slings, 3 monthly, mandated by AS 4497.2. Winches, blocks and hoists, 12 monthly for general use, 3 monthly for intensive use. Chain and wire rope slings, 12 monthly for general use, 3 monthly for intensive use. Other considerations when assessing frequency include the usage of the item and the level of duty. Is it loaded to its working load all the time? The usage and storage environment, such as dirty or corrosive work sites. Various types of lifting gear are more prone to early degradation. For example, slings made of synthetic fibres and some wire rope slings with soft eyes can be expected to need more constant examination. The hook is the component from which all of your various securing pieces of equipment used to handle coils are secured to the crane itself. So as you can imagine, lack of care when inspecting and maintaining this vital item will have a detrimental effect upon safety and productivity. So how do you inspect the hook? Initially, you should check that the working load limit, the WLL, is clearly displayed on the main structure and ensure that the nameplate or scribe marked indicating at minimum the manufacturer's name, weight of item, serial number or identification number is clearly readable. Next, check the current inspection mark is clear and is within date. Springs should not be loose, rusted or make noise when operating. The safety latch for the crane hook must be operational. Ensure the lock has been engaged prior to operation. And lastly, check that there is no obvious damage or wear and tear on the hook. Next we have flat synthetic web slings. These types of slings are used for handling coils, both full and part coils, bore horizontal. The first thing you should look for when inspecting the Flay synthetic web sling is the WLL. This should be clearly marked and legible. There should be an identification tag indicating the manufacturer's name, serial number, SWL or safe working load, and rigging arrangements. A current inspection mark required, which we will go into detail later in the course. And finally, there should be no obvious evidence of damage or wear and tear such as cuts, snags, illegible or missing tags, heat damage, acid damage, or frayed edges. Chain slings also have an identification tag indicating at a minimum the manufacturer's name, serial number, SWL, rigging arrangements. This must be present on the chain sling. Also, a current inspection mark must be within date and legible. The chain sling must have no obvious evidence of damage or wear and tear to the hooks, such as excessive wear on the throat opening, more than a 10% twist from plan, or an unbent hook or missing or non-functional safety latch. There must be no evidence of damage or wear and tear to the links either, such as bends, scratches, cracks, corrosion, heat damage, or illegible or missing tags. On the internal bore attachment, the WLL should be clearly displayed on the main structure, and there should be an identification tag indicating at a minimum the manufacturer's name, serial number, SWL and rigging arrangements. The current inspection mark should be legible and there should be no evidence of damage or wear and tear. The WLL should be clearly displayed on the main structure of the lifting beam, and the identification tag indicating the manufacturer's name, serial number, SWL and rigging arrangements should also be present. A current inspection mark is required, and there should be no obvious evidence of damage or wear and tear such as cuts, snags, illegible or missing tags, heat damage, acid damage or frayed edges.